Alright guys, today we had the launch of the Ethereum ETF from BlackRock and many others. Right now on the screen you can see the iShares Ethereum Trust they're calling ETHA, and I certainly do not believe we can call it a sell the news event. This could have been predicted because we never pumped up into this event. Normally if you're going to have some sort of sell the news catalyst, you pump up into that catalyst. We never saw that. We just kind of traded sideways, and we are now starting to see ETH massively outperform Bitcoin. Seems very different than our last two Bitcoin ETF launches. And I think a big reason for this is just the market cap of Ethereum is so much smaller than Bitcoin that having an official ETF, getting that regularity behind it, is actually extremely bullish for the price action, and there's a massive repricing that needs to happen. So today we're going to go over the Ethereum price chart and the altcoin market in general, as well as talk about Bitcoin for quite some time, and then finish off with some other charts like Bitcoin dominance and the DXY. But before we do get into these charts, I got to mention today was a pretty cool day because we had our weekly meetings. This is the Crypto Eagles VIP that is linked in the description down below. We host a meeting every week where we hop in the VC with screen sharing on, and we were watching this ETF live this morning trade. We were also looking at potentially getting into long positions. I had actually entered a long position on Bitcoin earlier this morning just before that meeting had happened, so we had watched my position get stopped out live on air because I had entered within this golden pocket right here. I had entered a small position there, kind of expected to get stopped out, was talking about this potential of failing this level. We did go ahead and fail it, and we had planned for this next long setup that I am in fact in right now from Pico bottom. If you want to know how I got into that long position, I have all of that information in that VIP Discord as well. I do announce kind of when I'm entering a position. Not to copy trade though, it's just so you can get the information about my theology behind entering positions. But yeah, I thought I would mention that because I am still running the promo right now, which is 50% off. So if you're interested in anything I just talked about, only $20 a month. It's specifically for you guys that do leverage trade. So feel free to click on that link, read through all of the bullet points to decide for yourself if you think it's going to be worth the money or not. Also, just join the free Discord. It's at the top of the description. But let's go ahead and actually get into the price action. Let's talk about the chart right now. Is this in fact going to be the low? Do I think I'm going to be able to carry this long down here all the way up into all-time highs? And I actually believe I will. That is where I'm going to be looking to take the majority of my profit. Of course, we have this $70,000 level that I have kept mentioning, right? We have a lot of volume up here. We got a lot of liquidity. I'll be looking to potentially get into a hedge short up here depending on what structure does. But those will of course be taken with very tight stops, and I will be using it just to hedge my positions because I do fully expect all-time highs is the next target just based on our liquidity maps on the 6 months time frame. Look at how much liquidity is sitting up at all-time highs, and even just below all-time highs we should start magneting up into this stuff, and I really do think this 75k level is going to come sooner rather than later. Before we talk about those upside predictions though, I should mention I missed something in yesterday's video that I think is pretty noteworthy. So I had said when we were up here, this is kind of where I uploaded yesterday's video, I had said we're probably going to hold the golden pocket, flip the resistance back into support, right? The golden pocket, swing high, swing low. And we did try to do that originally, right? We kind of wicked up above it a couple times, right? Trying to reclaim it into support, but we did fail this level. And I hadn't mentioned the bearish confluences that could have led to us failing this level because I had happened to miss it before doing that recording. So we'll go ahead and jump over to trading light now. And what we had was a 30-minute bearish divergence on the CVD, the cumulative volume delta. We have higher highs on price, lower highs on that CVD. What does this indicate? What indicates when we make this secondary high that we have less longs, more shorts being opened, showing that the buyers are weakening, right? We're seeing exhaustion from buyers, and this was likely to roll over, especially with open interest decreasing as we came up into this level. If it was open interest increasing and we had a CVD bear div, that indicates that there are just more shorts being opened, but price is going up against those shorts. So it could indicate the shorts are on the wrong side of the market. They're going to get squeezed. But because we had longs closing, we had the CVD bear div on multiple exchanges, right? This is not just Binance. This is also on Bybit USDT contracts as well, and on our USD pairs that I can see in XO charts. We definitely did have this bear div coming in on an open interest decrease, as well as we had this 4-hour regular RSI bear div, higher highs on price, lower highs on the RSI within there. And this was actually multiple draws of that bear div. We've had this since all the way back at this last high. So yeah, I should have pointed that out in yesterday's video. If you're wondering why we had this pullback, those are some confluences on the chart, some signs that could have warned us this was going to happen. But right now on RSI, we actually see a hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour time frame. I love the hidden bull divs. We see lower lows on the RSI, higher lows on price, showing that there is absorption from those aggressive sellers. And I do think there's a good chance right now the low is in. That's why I took the long position, but my stop is at entry for that position. There's always a chance we could go lower. We are kind of in no man's land right now. This is purely a deviation to get back within the range. So we really need to see confirmation of the reclaim here. So if we pull the volume profile, I would really like to see us reclaim this value area low. We don't just want to reject this level right here. So let's see if we can get a clear confirmation back within the range for that continuation up on higher. If we were to reject, a retest back down here at the 64,500 level would not surprise me, or even potentially a full sweep of the longs that have been opened within this range that we have been talking about as well. There's a couple levels to the downside that can still be bullish corrections, but of course the higher levels on up we can hold, the more bullish it is. Maintaining those higher lows on the macro, maintaining that structure is going to be nice to see. So far I like the price action. We got a 1 hour regular bull div on the RSI, 30 minutes, we got some of those bull divs on the shorter term time frames. But even though Bitcoin does have some bullish signs, structure on the lower term time frames is still bearish, right? We still haven't made a higher high or anything like that. We still have the lower lows. So we need to see that structural change for me to be confident the low would be in. But what I do really like to see is, even though Bitcoin is struggling to hold this range right now, our other assets are massively outperforming Bitcoin, showing bullishness in the market overall. What am I talking about? Well, that's of course going to be Ethereum right now. With this Ethereum ETF, we have seen Ethereum massively start to outperform Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance swung fail this level that we had talked about breaking out of in yesterday's video. And this happened after sweeping all of these poor lows that we had within here. So structurally, this looks very, very good. Of course, likely to see a pullback within here. I'm sure there's a lot of late longers FOMOing in right now. Pullback to the golden pocket makes perfect sense, but I would expect structure on the macro for Ethereum now to kind of change and for us to continue up, because I do think this Ethereum ETF is going to be a little bit more bullish than people think. Could it still be a sell the news event? Absolutely, right? We still got some poor lows down here. We still got massive inefficiencies in the chart. If we were to start breaking down, this could break down pretty heavy, and this could certainly mark the top for our risk on assets. We had talked about a potential sell the news event on the Ethereum ETF being the final news catalyst for crypto, and that the bear market would resume afterwards. What I'm seeing on the charts doesn't really make me assume that's what's going to happen, but there's nothing that necessarily says that can't possibly happen. We have a good high within here. I don't think it's out of the question at all that Bitcoin could fall, that Ethereum could fall, that all of crypto could be over and we enter the bear market from here. But overall, even if we are to sweep this low, we're still above the 618. Flipping this into support would indicate all-time highs is almost guaranteed after this. I don't think BlackRock's just going to let their ETF fail massively. They're going to want to pump it up, get that euphoria in the market. Let's see all-time highs resume. This is where the real distribution would happen, in my opinion. But we'll see if it does play out. Nothing is guaranteed. So let's make sure to stay, critical in the markets. We don't want to get over euphoric or anything like that, especially if we do see meme coins start running to the highs, which we might actually start seeing soon. We are seeing meme coins start to outperform. These ETH betas like MOG are structurally looking very good. We have something like SPX on the daily time frame. Look at this chart. It's about to explode. If you watched my top 5 meme coins video, this was one of my favorites, and this has performed incredibly since I made that video, up about 500%. And now getting into escaping this parabola, we might see SPX start going vertical fairly soon. We have something like Kekik. This was another one in that video that I had talked about. This is now starting that trend higher after this potential macro double bottom for that continuation into a parabola. So we'll see kind of how this stuff reacts. Obviously, we're not going to see these meme coins go parabolic if Ethereum just pulls back right now. So this would be something to watch for, assuming we do get more of a bounce up, potentially, taking the previous local range on Ethereum. But even right now with where assets are, if it is going to be a failed cycle because of monetary policy, we're not going to see the altcoin season. If you're a believer in that, you think we're in a 2019 style rally that has just overextended because of ETFs or some other catalyst, then there is always that case. We do just rolled over right now, so we'll keep that in the back of our heads. But my base case, all-time highs. I think we really need that for retail to jump back into the market and start FOMOing into assets once again. So once again, all-time high where this liquidity is sitting is where I think the real distribution is going to start. But going back to the bear scenario, we do see our altcoin market continuing to reject off of this box of worst case scenario if we really are having a failed rally. Getting back under this value area low of last cycle and backtesting it as resistance would be expected in that scenario. So certainly not out of the woods yet. We need to see this reclaimed into support. But I do like what I'm seeing today. Once again, Bitcoin dominance, getting back under this trend, swing failing. We still have not made higher highs on the dominance. Let's see if it's finally going to roll over now, finally come down here to make new lows, or if this is just going to get back on top. Let's see how this does in fact play out. And another chart that is at support resistance flip right now is the dollar. We had talked about this in yesterday's video, kind of stuck in this range, didn't really have clear confirmation. Are we bullish? Are we bearish? And once again, we still have no confirmation, but we have gotten a swing up into the highs right now. So we have clear levels to watch for. Is this going to flip back into support? And if we can make a higher high, I would now be very, very cautious of the market. Whereas if we can get back under, except back within this range right here, then I would expect that this was just a deviation to the upside. And our next target is absolutely the range lows down here at 100, giving us clear skies for Bitcoin and risk on assets. So yeah, those are just kind of my thoughts on the market today. The Ethereum launch, clearly not quite as bearish as when Bitcoin ETF came out. If you remember, when iShares launched the Bitcoin ETF, it was all the way back January. And you do see this is where the launch happened. We see a swing up into the highs, deviation back within, and then a fall down for the next couple of weeks, sending Bitcoin all the way down over 20%. And Ethereum just does not have this structure within here. We never saw that big pump up into the highs. We just kind of have been consolidating within this range, deviated to the downside. Expected on a news day, you do deviate ranges to take out those longs that are foaming into the news event. But we have reclaimed this, showing now very bullish structure on that dominance coming from Ethereum, massively outperforming Bitcoin. So I like what I'm seeing so far. But as I talked about, still time to stay critical in the markets. And if you do have any questions about anything I talked about or just want to join the community for this channel, link to my Discord is at the top of the description down below. Also, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, VIP Discord is linked right under that. Make sure to use early, 50% off that. Click on the link to learn more about it or join the free Discord. More information in there as well. And then below those two links, there's also a limited time event that I'm hosting right now with my exchange partner, BingX. So if you want to earn yourself some pretty awesome rewards on a great exchange, click on that to see what it's all about. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.